Thick, black rain has begun falling across the Russian capital. This phenomenon mirrors environmental fallout seen after heavy U.S. bombing campaigns in the Middle East, specifically in regions where oil refineries and storage depots were targeted. The cause of this rain is the destruction of major oil infrastructure just outside the city. Catastrophic explosions at these facilities are launching millions of gallons of burning fuel and soot directly into the atmosphere. In one viral video from the site, a massive explosion is so violent that the heavy steel cap of a storage container is launched hundreds of feet into the air like a piece of shrapnel. This specific blast was triggered by an errant Russian air defense missile that missed its target and struck the storage depot directly. The incident demonstrates that the air defense network surrounding the capital is currently failing to distinguish between incoming threats and its own critical infrastructure. This failure originated with ground-level infantry defenses, moving the focus away from Russia's long-range S-400 missile batteries. This image shows a soldier operating a manpad, a shoulder-fired launcher. In the chaos of an alert, infantrymen are using these heat-seeking missiles to try and intercept incoming, low-cost Ukrainian drones. Tracking software struggles with the small, agile drone. The system glitches and the target box slips off. Left unguided, the missile flies on a random trajectory, which in Moscow ended in a direct hit on a combustible oil storage tank. These high-speed drones are effectively weaponizing Russia's own defense systems, turning expensive anti-air missiles into accidental hazards for the domestic infrastructure they're meant to protect. The technical difficulty of tracking these small targets reveals the extreme cost disparity now driving this conflict, a concept known as asymmetric warfare. Instead of risking expensive aircraft, the strategy involves launching dozens of mass-produced $500 drones simultaneously to flood the target area. When automated radar systems face dozens of distinct targets at once, the data load can become overwhelming. This saturation causes the air defense grid to misfire or collapse as it tries to prioritize threats it wasn't designed to handle. By overwhelming these sensors, the drones can bypass the traditional front lines entirely, reaching deep into the interior to strike at the center of Russian administration. This asymmetry allows a smaller force to neutralize high-altitude defense networks using simple hardware, forcing a nuclear superpower to expend its most expensive resources on its own soil. Beyond the physical damage to oil depots, these defensive failures are creating a significant domestic crisis for the Russian leadership. This image captures the traditional spirit of the May 9th Victory Day Parade, which historically celebrates the Red Army's role in defeating Nazi Germany with a massive display of military hardware. In a sharp departure from that history, this year's parade in Moscow was held without any standard military vehicles or weapon displays. The displays were canceled because of the very real threat that a single Ukrainian drone could evade the local air defenses and destroy a Russian missile battery during a live global broadcast. Both nations share a unified Soviet history, nearly identical languages, and a common culture. Today, that shared heritage is being methodically destroyed by both sides. Western observers are watching this play out as a significant geopolitical shift. One of their primary historical rivals is burning through its military capability and infrastructure without the need for a single NATO soldier to enter the combat zone. This isolation is forcing an economic reality that is leaving the Russian state with fewer and fewer options. The scale of the economic response is significant, with over 20,000 individual sanctions now targeting Russian industry and finance. As this data shows, Russia has now surpassed historically isolated nations like Iran and North Korea to become the most sanctioned country on the planet. Because the West has applied nearly every available economic pressure point, there are very few diplomatic or financial deterrents left to influence the Kremlin's decisions. As the conventional military struggles and the economy remained isolated, the Russian state is running out of standard ways to exert its influence on the world stage. This isolation is forcing a shift in strategy that has Western and German intelligence agencies on high alert. Recently, the state suddenly announced a series of unscheduled military drills that were not part of their standard annual calendar. These exercises are not for standard infantry. They are specifically designed for Russia's strategic nuclear forces. These drills serve as a direct signal to the world, demonstrating the measures a cornered leadership is prepared to take when conventional defenses are exposed as fragile. By successfully challenging Russia's military through the use of cheap drones, Ukraine has pushed a heavily sanctioned Vladimir Putin toward his most extreme options, making the next phase of the conflict unpredictable.
If you value clarity over chaos, explore more on Clear Lens X.